One of the best analysts in sports, obviously in basketball, but one of the best shooters I ever seen in my lifetime, Tim Legler. So I got to ask you, man, for you just growing up, who were some of your favorite basketball players?
Man, well, so my first favorite player was Elvin Hayes because I was living in the DMV in Baltimore in those early days, and so the Washington Bullets were my team. It was Elvin Hayes, and then Larry Bird was a major influence on my career once he got to the league because I was primarily a baseball player prior to Larry Bird's arrival in the league, and I was just kind of starting to feel my way in basketball, and I just was like, man, that was the guy I wanted to try to be like. Unfortunately, I stopped at 6'4". I was never 6'10", so I could not become the next Larry Bird.
Hey, man, you became one of the best shooters that we ever seen. I got to ask you on the spot. If I didn't know anything about three-point shooting, right, you've been the three-point shootout champion. If I put you on the spot, the Mount Rushmore three-point shooters, you had to put four on the mountaintop. Who would be your four?
Man, I'd probably go Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Ray Allen, and Reggie Miller.
I think that was easy.
That's my four guys.
I love it, man. You played with some great players during your time, but you said you're a DMV guy, so obviously just driving down the way, you played for the Washington Bullets at one time, right?
Exactly.
You played with a team that had an interesting concept. You had Juwan Howard, Chris Webber, George Marison, and Rasheed Wallace on that same team. Can you talk about those moments just playing with those guys when they were young, right?
Yeah.
You were young as well.
And the league, we also had Ben Wallace on that team as well. Very early days of Ben Wallace's career, but the league was different. Right? So that you listen to the front court you just mentioned, everybody had two bigs on the court at all times. League doesn't look like that necessarily now. The bigs are starting to come back into the league a little bit now. More teams playing two bigs. But when we played, you always had two, and that's why we had five guys in the front court like that. And it made my life pretty easy because those guys drew a lot of double teams, which meant kickouts for open threes, and that's kind of why it was a perfect marriage between those front court guys and myself.
Cool. Two quick questions, man. So we're almost a year from the Luka trade, right? And I know you're a guy that you spoke about the trade, but just the overall reaction now, man, I'm still kind of like brain lost on trading a guy that's 25 years old, five-time All-NBA guy. Just now looking back at it, how do you feel about that trade now even more? Because it didn't make sense then, and now we're like, wow, it actually happened.
I think that trade's going to be talked about 30, 40, 50 years from now. That's literally the impact of a trade like that. It's just unprecedented to trade a guy with that kind of talent, already very accomplished, had been to a finals, and 25 years old. You just don't do that in this league because it's so difficult to get a talent like that in your building wearing a Mavericks uniform. So I said it at the time, I still feel this way. I think it could go down as maybe the worst trade maybe in the history of this league. But it's all going to depend on what Luka Doncic does going forward. And so let's see. But it's hard to really pass final judgment on it now. It really comes down to how much Luka wins in LA and what that looks like going forward. But I just don't know how the risk was worth the reward in that situation to trade a talent like that, a generational player.
Cool. Last question, man, to get you out of here, man. Cooper Flagg. Yeah. Seems like Mavs get lucky, right? They trade a generational guy, and a lot of people now talk about this 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" guy that can play defense and do everything. What are you seeing in Cooper Flagg as of now? What do you think his potential could be?
He's an absolute can't-miss bona fide star in the making. There's no doubt in my mind because of the versatility and then most importantly the competitive toughness. He's an edge to him that he wants to be great. No one's going to outwork him. He's going to find that. I think the shot making early was going to be a challenge for him. I said it all along because his mechanics probably could use some work. He'll get there with that. But in the meantime, the ball handling, the passing, the defense, all of the things that he does to help you, they got a big-time player here. It was a no-brainer pick. And let's hope now they hold on to him as a number one pick and they don't trade him. And I'm just making that as a joke because I don't expect them to do that.
No.
But Cooper Flagg is the real deal. And when they have their full complement of players out here, you're going to see it even more.
Legs, man, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for being such a great basketball mind, not only for just the generation that I'm in, which is your generation, but the generation out there. We learn a lot from you. Appreciate your time, brother. Keep
Appreciate
doing your
you,
thing.
man. Yes, thanks for having me. Yeah, you got it.